now introduce you to the 7 pillars for fulfilling relationships. The following set of pillars are based on highly effective personal development strategies and understandings shared amongst many of the great leaders, teachers, coaches, and philosophers whose work I have studied over the past 12 years. I refer to pillars as they support fulfilling and lasting relationships. These 7 pillars are the difference that make the difference in your relationships. There are other good approaches to improving relationships, but I believe that the ideas which I'll be presenting here are the foundation of many other approaches and take some of them to a whole new level. I have put these pillars to practice in my own life, and I know that they work. I have found that change is the only constant in life, and therefore relationship dynamics are forever changing too. Some of these pillars enable you to easily adapt to changes and be resourceful amidst the uncertainties that these changes bring. Each pillar builds on the one preceding it and adds greater significance. Integrating any one of these pillars into your life will enrich your relationships. The more of them you're able to incorporate, the better your results will be. You will find that there is at least one most appropriate pillar to concentrate on depending on the type of challenge you're experiencing or whether you'd like to build or improve a relationship. Implementing all 7 of these pillars will provide you with a powerful, dynamic, and holistic approach to achieving unimaginable levels of fulfillment in your relationships. Let's get started. Pillar number 1, enjoyment. How do you spend time with your partner? A key to getting more out of a relationship is to actively create experiences that both you and your partner enjoy, as this generates an ongoing positive energy. In a couple relationship, breaking old routines and exploring new things and places together brings excitement and vitality into your relationship. Regularly participate in activities that are mutually enjoyable. Fun and laughter is not only healing, as when it's shared with your partner it creates lightheartedness and leaves behind fond memories and good feelings. In a professional relationship, offering new ideas and creative solutions invites growth and development. Spend the occasional day with your business partner or work colleagues out of the workplace, enjoying leisurely or team-building activities, as this enables you to get to know the human being beyond their professional status. When we relate to human beings in the workplace, instead of only employers, employees, and associates, then our communication, effectiveness, and productivity are all improved. In any kind of relationship, taking initiative and time to ensure ongoing enjoyment allows for easier integration of the following important pillars. Pillar 2. Show interest. If you want people to be interested in you, be interested in them first. Anytime you show genuine interest in what another person is interested in, they look upon you with greater interest. When you demonstrate care and compassion, then you're expressing a sincere interest in another's well-being. This valuable investment will reward you richly down the line. To develop a dynamic character, show interest not only in those who are similar to you, but to those who are most unlike you. I'm not suggesting that you set out to build relationships with people that you don't desire to spend time with, but why not include some unusual people into your inner circle? It can be mind-expanding, and you'll certainly learn more about yourself. Noticing the difference between yourself and another with the intention to understand more about what makes them tick leads to unity. Being less judgmental about others and rather being curious about how their perceptions are different from yours will begin to eliminate resistance towards them and cultivate mutual respect. This is especially important, yet most challenging, when interacting with others from different cultures and generations. When you willingly involve yourself in activities with another which are of interest to them, Then you develop rapport with that person. Rapport cultivates trust, openness, and camaraderie. How to develop rapport rapidly and effectively will be discussed in our next pillar. Pillar 3. Build rapport. The conscious intention to connect with another will translate into subtle gestures and expressions that build rapport. When this type of connection is allowed to develop, it becomes like a sacred bond that exists between two or more people. It's easy to identify a couple who have good rapport. There's a natural and free-flowing communication between them. They seem to be in a kind of dance, regardless of where they are or what they're doing. One way to develop rapport is to always seek first to understand, then to be understood. Become an exquisite listener. Practice listening to not only what is expressed in the words that people communicate, but also between their words. Observe their physical gestures and voice qualities, for this communicates much more than their words alone. Allow them to fully and completely express themselves before responding. Many people are reactive listeners. They're reacting according to the concepts and judgments in their own minds, interrupting others consistently and paying very little attention to what people are trying to express. One doesn't feel heard or understood when interacting with reactive listeners, as there is little or no rapport. There is another way to build a level of rapport, which is to make yourself as alike to another person as you can. When people are like each other, they like each other. People in rapport naturally have a variety of behavioral patterns such as breathing rates, postures, tempo of speech, and language expressions that become similar in nature. This means that you can establish rapport with anyone by matching the other person's physiology, voice, and words. While listening to another person, pay attention to their body language, voice qualities, and particular emphasis of words. When it's your time to respond, then conscientiously utilize their physical and auditory expressions in your reciprocating communication. By being in rapport with another person, you get a better understanding of their thoughts and behavior, which in turn allows the other person to feel that you understand their position better. Hence, rapport is an essential part of effective communication and a harmonious relationship. Pillar 4. Respecting other people's values. What do you value about each of your relationships? These are the things that are most important to you in a relationship, like love, companionship, and happiness. Our relationships with the people closest to us provide the contexts that promote feelings which we desire to experience in life. We don't experience these desired feelings because of our companion, we experience them because of our perceptions of that person. Our values and their related perceptions and feelings are all within us and are not determined by our partner or anyone else. Sometimes it may seem that the way we feel is determined by others, and to some extent we may allow others to influence our feelings. But essentially, all our emotions are based on our values and perceptions, as I will explain later. Once you've established your values, then find out what's important to your partner or someone you want to be in a relationship with. If there is a natural match in yours and your partner or potential partner's values, then you will be naturally drawn together. If yours or your partner's values are not matched, then you will need to work hard to maintain compatibility. Conflicting values are the main cause of relationship problems. Our values become the rules we live by, and when our rules clash with another's, then ask yourself, would I rather be happy Or would I rather be right and miserable? Honoring people's values and communicating to them in terms of their values will create a strong connection with them. A loving relationship is a perfect synthesis and balance of complementary values. Values can and do change over time, and therefore, two people committed to being in a partnership are able to align their values by becoming more aware of them and the behaviors which those values are responsible for. Aiming to identify the value which is the motivation behind anyone's behavior will enable you to relate to that person on a deeper level than judging them based upon their behavior only. All behavior has a positive and purposeful intention behind it. It's our intention to feel a certain way that causes our behavior. When our behaviors are out of alignment with our values, and this is brought to our awareness, then we can find new and more resourceful ways of going about doing things so that we can feel the way we want to feel. For example, the positive and purposeful intention behind shouting at someone might be to get them to do something that they're not doing. This person may believe that when the other person gets off their lazy backside and does what they're expected to do, then there can be peace and harmony in the home. So in this case, the person doing the shouting values peace and harmony, even though their behavior is contradictory to what they want. Keeping in mind that everyone does the best they can with their current level of awareness, we can accept the person and respond in a way which respects their values in that context. In this way, we maintain rapport and understanding. Identifying and relating to your partner's values will enable you to more accurately perceive the world from their point of view. This skill in and of itself is healing and empowering, as I will explain in the next pillar. Pillar 5. Become attractive. Who do you have to become in order to attract the people that you want in your life? What kind of person do you need to be in order to attract a soulmate or a business partner? How must you behave in order to attract a lover, companion, or friend? According to the law of attraction, you've attracted the people and circumstances into your life which are a vibrational match to your thoughts, feeling, and actions. Like attracts like. Therefore, you can learn to become more conscious of what's going on inside you so that you can fine-tune your vibes and thereby attract people and relationships which you desire. Ultimately, when you're being yourself and not pretending to be anything that you're not, that authenticity has its own attraction. This is when your inner beauty shines and you become someone that others like to be around because your presence allows them to be who they are. Sometimes people who seem extremely unlike us show up in our life and play a significant role. It may be very difficult to identify how we've attracted these individuals into our life. And in these instances, I like to acknowledge two main ideas. The first idea is that there is something about ourselves that we haven't yet become consciously aware of. When we learn what that is and make necessary changes inside ourselves, then we become empowered and take appropriate action in our relationship with that person. If we are willing to look deep within ourselves, then we will always find a positive reason why someone is in our life. This also applies in the case of someone in an abusive relationship. There will be a hidden benefit, something that we're getting from the relationship that we believe we need. As soon as that hidden benefit is exposed, and we break the behavioral pattern that it's responsible for, Then we can move ahead resourcefully and begin to attract new experiences. The second idea is that of perception is projection. What this means is that we have an unconscious tendency to project our internal perceptions about ourselves onto others. For example, a person with a lot of anger inside them may find themselves in confrontational situations and blame the other person for overreacting. Someone who has a low sense of self-esteem may put on a confident or dominating persona and behave in a way that undermines others because they perceive low self-esteem in them. The dark shadows of our personality, which we are often not aware of consciously, are the parts of us that we're usually unwilling to take ownership of. And the result is that we end up projecting these parts of ourselves onto others. The others show up in our life to reflect back to us these hidden parts of our personality, and they're often the people we're closest to. In an intimate relationship, after the initial in-love feelings have subsided, we then begin to identify the shadow sides of our partner's personality. If that part of them strikes a chord in us or pushes one of our hot buttons, then it means that we have that quality within us. Instead of judging or blaming our partner, we can shift our attention to this unhealed part of ourselves and take necessary steps to heal and release this shadow side. When we can begin to see these people as gifts in our lives and be open to what we see in the mirror, which is ourself reflected back through that person, then we can begin to shine a light in the darkest parts of our mind. We break the pattern of reliving similar challenges with our partners simply because the part of our personality which kept attracting that type of experience is no longer affecting us. The other option is to only see the faults in others, to wish they were different and to try fix them. This is a recipe for conflict or a painful struggle that fails. And sooner or later, we're presented with a similar challenge again. Isn't it nice to know we've got a choice, that we can be accountable for ourselves and rise to any challenge in our relationships by looking within? If we can focus inwards and understand that all change comes from within us, and then take our focus off those we expect to make us happy, what freedom we give ourselves and others to be who we are and to be who they are. These two ideas which I've been discussing here are easily achievable when we feel enough self-love. Without self-love, we're likely to keep recycling these same types of challenges in our relationships, while we go about trying to get approval and love from others. We can only love others unconditionally when we can provide ourselves with that quality of love. I believe that there is nothing and nobody outside of us that can provide us with that which we most desire, and that is love. One of my teachers says that a relationship is not a relationship until you've got to the other side of your first disagreement. Which means it's not until you can be totally yourself, without projecting anything onto the other, that you can develop an authentic and harmonious relationship, not only with others, but also with yourself. Pillar 6. See the diamond inside people. I believe that human beings are intrinsically good. We're all nice people, except when we believe thoughts based on fear and limitation, which result in behaviors that are commonly judged as bad or wrong. I like using the metaphor that we are all born as radiant diamonds. During the course of life, many layers of gunk accumulate around the diamond. This gunk are the fears and limitations which are installed into our minds, mostly while we're children, by well-meaning caregivers, as well as our educational and religious institutions. If left unexplored and unhealed, we grow up identified with these layers, which is our personality, more than the diamond, which is our authentic self. This often results in attitudes, morals, ethics, and beliefs which are out of alignment with our authentic nature. When we aim to sense the diamond in ourselves and live the moments of our life from this unconditioned part of ourselves, then we become authentically self-empowered. When we aim to sense the diamond in others, then we unconsciously communicate and support who they really are as people. Most people want to be recognized not so much for their accomplishments, but for who they are as a person. Providing this deep recognition to another will create an authentic and meaningful connection with that person. The best a person can ever be in your presence is a match to your internal representation of them. The picture in our mind that we hold of another determines our attitude and behavior towards that person. We then experience their response to our attitude and behavior. Therefore, when we change our perceptions of people and things, then we will begin to see changes in them. In other words, when we make a change within ourselves, the world outside us changes accordingly. So in order to experience the change that you want to see in others, you must first create that change within you. We walk on thin ice when we assume that we know what our partner is thinking. Problems arise when we believe and react to our assumptions that are fear-based. These problems are immediately resolved when we address our partner openly and honestly, getting clarity and then responding more appropriately. If you must assume anything about another, then assume that they're a radiant diamond. When we give what we want from others, and give without any expectation of getting something in return, then we'll have an open heart and mind into which the universe can pour its love and abundance. Pillar 7. Learn to change your perceptions. The only way your partner exists for you is through your perceptions. Our perceptions determine how we behave. Our behavior influences our partner's behavior, which in turn influences our perception about them, and so the cycle goes. In other words, our partner's behavior validates our perception of them, and so we always get to be right. So basically, our perceptions become self-fulfilling prophecies that keep recycling in our life. When we project our perceptions onto others, they reflect that perception back to us. They show us what we believe to be true not only about them, but about ourselves. Their behaviors highlight what we still need to learn and understand about ourselves so that we no longer attract the kind of people and experiences that cause us suffering. It comes down to exploring our unresourceful perceptions and changing them into new appropriate views. Considering that our perceptions are based on our beliefs, it seems more true that we will see what we believe and not that we will believe what we see. This means that our partner is always what we judge them to be, as we will experience them as such. When we can free ourselves of the idea that we need something from our partner that they're not giving, then we can free ourselves from the suffering which results from this limiting belief. In truth, nothing and nobody outside of us can give us what is of most importance to us. We may think that by being in a relationship with a particular person that we will achieve feelings like love, happiness, and success. And while our perceptions resonate with the perceptions of another, we may temporarily experience these desirable feelings. But as soon as one of us changes our perceptions, that bond is gone and so is the feeling. The mistake many people make is to then desperately seek ways of changing the other person's perceptions to once again match ours. The more we chase this goal, the more we chase the other person away. When we're able to change our perceptions appropriately, we'll experience the joy of congruent expression. In fact, it's our ability to see others as well as our relationship with them from multiple points of view which has a positive and empowering effect on our interactions. Problems occur in relationships when you get stuck in your point of view. When you refuse to see the situation from another's perspective as well as from a more distant, objective perspective, but only from your map of reality, then problems are inevitable. When we realize that at a deep level we are interconnected not only with our loved ones, but also with everyone and everything in nature, then we begin to treat ourselves the way we would like to be treated. We're all made of the same energy or consciousness which has no beginning and no end, and it constitutes all matter in the universe that you and I are part of. The more deeply we can realize this truth which science and spirituality agree on, the more meaning and value we'll give ourselves and others, as well as the relationship which connects us. In every couple relationship, there are at least 3 entities involved: you, the other, and the relationship, which is the energy which moves between you. In relationships between families and larger groups, there exists the same phenomena, an energy that moves between all parties involved. This energy is like a cord that connects you, your partner, and everyone, and there is a continuous flow between all. When 2 lovers are intimately involved, this energy can be felt powerfully. When someone has been out of your life for a long time and you never think about them anymore, then this energy is very weak. However, the moment you think about that person, that connecting energy or relationship is enlivened. So we give life to our relationships with our thoughts and emotions. In other words, the way we think and feel influences the quality of the relationship. This means that any relationship can be viewed from 4 perceptual positions: yours, another's, an observer's, and from the point of view of the relationship itself. Your ability to shift awareness between all 4 of these positions is the key to overcoming conflicts with people. Adjusting your thoughts and feelings by means of allowing yourself greater perceptual awareness enables you to become more accepting, forgiving, and flexible in your relationships. This doesn't mean that you stick around in an unwanted or abusive relationship. It means that you become empowered to act from a broader perspective. You are able to choose more wisely what is in your best interest and move in that direction without resentment, negativity, or any sense of loss. If, in your wisdom, you choose to end a relationship, which really means to change its form, then you can imagine cutting the cord that connects you with this person, so that in your perception you are no longer connected. This can be a very useful part of a healing process whereby you metaphorically free yourself from someone. In realizing that our perceptions determine our external reality, this visualization can be very liberating. We're always relating in one form or another with everyone we come across in life. I trust that you now have new ways of positively and resourcefully influencing your relationships, so that you may increase your level of fulfillment from the inside out. Let me very briefly summarize and bring together the 7 pillars that I've just presented. Take initiative and time to ensure ongoing enjoyment. When you willingly involve yourself in activities with another which are of interest to them, then you develop rapport with that person. Rapport cultivates trust, openness, and camaraderie. The conscious intention to connect with another will translate into subtle gestures and expressions that also build rapport. Respecting and honoring people's values and communicating to them in terms of their values will create a strong connection with these people. Be yourself and give up pretending to be anything that you're not. This authenticity is attractive, and you become someone that others like to be around because your presence allows them to be who they are. When we're authentic, we become like a diamond and live the moments of our life with greater freedom. When we aim to sense the diamond in others, we support them in becoming the best version of themselves. Shifting your perspectives to include the 4 perceptual positions will lead to better communication, understanding, honesty, compassion, and harmony in that relationship. The relationship resourcing process on track 4 is designed to help you achieve greater awareness of the beliefs and behaviors which attract the reoccurring patterns that you may experience in your relationships. This kind of self-awareness leads to self-love, independency, choice, and freedom, the ingredients for all healthy relationships.